abantu for the love of cars. But I'm feeling so good, like I want the whole hood. Jump, 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 jump. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ba-da-pa-pa-pa. Yes, good morning, my people. How are you today? Today is Random Car Talk Thursday. I've said serious talk because this is really serious. I need to talk about it. And the things we're going to talk about were both experiences and conclusions from yesterday. So yesterday, we attempted to do pre-purchase inspection for someone. And I'm specifically mentioning this because yesterday I said there are times I do broadcasts and I'm misunderstood, especially when I'm not clear when the experience is. Now, sometimes I may not be able to mention when the experiences were got, but this time I really want to specifically say the things I'm going to talk about today were from yesterday's experience, yeah? And I know the person go to na inspection agenda kula broadcasting, and probably naye ajja kufunamu ekyokuyiga broadcast ya leero, because yesterday we spent about half of the time nga tuwakanira ebintu ebiri obvious, okitegeera nga tuwakanira ebintu ebiri obvious, and some of the things that betwabadde tuwakanira bye byatumazisiza at the end of the day nga tetufunye mmoroka, okitegeera. So I want to talk about them because it's been a long time since I actually talked about things like this, but I'm going to talk about them. Kasoke mbazeko kubala. Muyombia Mark, Godfrey Tambala, Mutebi Joel, Mugalasi Joshua Mixed Farm, Rashid Jagenda, Omni Wandiambi, Jay Sekaja, Africa Karota, Bukenya Shafik, Kakonge Eugene, Julius Muliaka, Patrick Rio Poultry Farm Pade Pade, Nathan Jones Info, Paul Sema VIP, Tusime Eddie, Ben Kako, Travel Live Vlog, Muhumuza Osbat, Ronald Muchwa VIP, Morad K Momo VIP, Lubura Chris Fitness, Mikel UG, Omni Wandiambi. Network is not good. Are you sure, guys? Is the network that bad? Heath Moses. When in the service industry, expect stubborn clients, good clients, and bad ones. For the love of Kasija government, I've gotten bad clients. I can't say. Maybe we could say stubborn. Maybe we can say stubborn. But I also don't want to say stubborn because when I find that a stubborn person normally is stubborn because they don't lose anything. But when you're losing, bobanga gwa firwai, you cannot afford to be stubborn at your own cost. Router, let me just check to see why it's off. The router internet is faster, so let me just check it. Arthur Anjagara Kavit Kapele Byong. Yes, Kenneth Okilan, how are you? Let me just check the router. Yeah, we are back. Timothy Wodiana, good morning. 1000cc vits egenda kuwa 13 kilometers per liter. Ngovuze SC. Ngovuze SC. Nganungi bwe bana abanamu bulungi. Ejja kuwesobola kuwa 13 kilometers per liter ngovuze SC. Kitegeza butavuga SC, you can actually get 15 out of it. But if you buy a new car, I would advise you to get SC in order to maintain the value of your car. Good morning, Ark Vincent. So yesterday, pre-purchase inspection yatandise sawa nga mukaga musanvu. I've told you time and again, guys, if you're going to look for a car, you start in the morning. You start in the morning so that by 5 p.m. you are done. So never make a mistake of deciding that some kaga kangeneta motoka. Okisegere okujja kongo sazeewo nti ame risk taker kangende jensanga jengula. Choose between a Subaru Forester XC and a Toyota Vanguard. What would be your choice? I'll definitely take the Vanguard, Wodiana. Toyota is me. I don't think I'm at the level where I drive a car because I like it. I think I'll take the Vanguard because of first of all reliability, resale value. Of course, people like the XTs, but the Vanguard is in its own level. Which take here that if passion were not a thing, people would not be buying the XT because it's a Subaru. But the Vanguard, people buy it because it's a Vanguard. You get. Kari. Let me start by making a disclaimer. Sometimes njogera bubi nsoundinga bubi sijaganti njogera bubi because this is how I talk every day. However, when I say stuff ngebintu byenjogerako gwe bikwatako olumu ojja kulaba ojja kuwulira nganze akwata akinga. Okay, so I'm making this disclaimer. Today's broadcast is to teach both the people that were not with me yesterday doing inspection and the person with nakozena inspection, because I can tell you twina we twatuuse nemba kati nga nkola bukozi kyangamba okitegeera tugende wano nga ngenda bugenzi. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Nti otuuka ekiseera nga omuntu ogezaako okumuwabula naye nga by'omuwabula tabiwulira. Let me first of all make this point, guys. Every car can become troublesome and you even sell it very cheaply because you're tired. Every car, let it be a Primo new model, let it be a Sienta, let it be a Wish, every car can become troublesome. You can fail to maintain any car. Even if it were a Vitz, you could fail to maintain it. But there are cars where the chances of you failing to keep it on the road are higher than normal. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So if you're going to buy cars, there are cars where the chances of you keeping it on the road are slim. I don't know if you get them. That's why every car you see now on the road, Toyota, that's a Ford. But that Ford belongs to the local government. That's literally the only Ford I've seen today. The other Ford, it's a high-ranking ministry official, Ministry of Defense, some time ago. The reason why literally every car that is on this road now is a Toyota is because the chances of you failing to keep that car on the road are slim. Eyemoroke je ireke rimu milioni nga 10 yo Land Cruiser. Oyo muntu asobola okugula Volvo, asobola okuvuga Tiguan, asobola okuvuga Ford Explorer, ezazo mimo kazisobola. Naye agenda nakwata sente z'empitufu nagula Land Cruiser because the chances of you keeping it on the road are higher. Mulaba extra ireyo eri UBQ. Awo wedi okyasobola okugitunulira ng'eganyo teeka mu gear. The chances of you failing to maintain a Nissan X-Trail, the chances of you failing to maintain a Honda CR-V, the chances of you failing to maintain a Ford Explorer, the chances, they are higher than the average. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Akantu ako njagala nkakole nkakugambe oberengo okimanyi nti emmoloka, even if you looked at it and it looks really lovely, even if it had a very smooth body, even if the engine sounded clear and clean and healthy, even if the interior was the cleanest, even if the owner was a minister, even if the guy bought it at 0 mileage, there are cars where the chances of you keeping it on the road are slim. You get, and that's why they are not so common on the road. Every car can get trouble, but there are cars that are guaranteed to get trouble. The reason why doctors advise you before you get married to someone, go and do medical checkups, see is any of you a sickle cell patient, is any of you a sickle cell carrier, is because the cost of you keeping a sickle cell child alive are high, and the chances of that child making it past 16 are slim. Now, there are people that have sickle cells that have managed to live to adulthood, but there is a reason why doctors encourage married couples. Why? Because there is a reason why in the medical field they tell women to go for antenatal, so that they don't lack some very key vitamins for their babies. When you lack key vitamins for your babies, key nutrients, that's when you have babies that have Down syndrome, that's when you have babies that are lame, that's when you have babies that have one head here and another one here. You get. Now, when I talk about these things like this, it feels like, oh, Arthur only rude, oh, Arthur only totally empathetic, oh, Arthur tewete kamu gatuza abantu balala nete kamu. And that's why I'm sharing these things. Why am I talking about a car that you will fail to maintain? Yesterday, I think the second last car we saw was the Toyota RAV4. Toyota RAV4, there's a Toyota RAV4 2003, I think. There's a Toyota RAV4 2003 that has a D4 engine. Now, the D4 engine will not be a problem, because if it's found and it's healthy, you go ahead and buy it. But there are cars where the chances of it disturbing you and you dump it in the garage are higher. We saw a Toyota RAV4. It's the second last car we saw. It started fine, okay? It looked okay. But it was, first of all, a D4. The way it started, the engine started properly, but then it would skip. Omanyingo omutima gunabanga kuskipinga mu beat, it would skip. Okitegeera, it would skip. Nga wiring muyiye. Kati emotoka eyo nga bwe skippinga, most probably ekimiro kirwadde. Emotoka eyo ina pressure pump yayo. Oba joyita fuel pump. Emotoka eyo ya D4. You guys have remembered, the guys that have been in the car scene for long, you guys remember when they used to tell you togula primo ya D4. You guys have remembered that. Ngera sorry, network ebadde tujjeko. Bagamba 4 etawaanya bwogiwa amafuta. Emotoka eyo eya D4 yagiwa amafuta mabi ekusumbwe baddembere none ogenda okuli obubiri emmotoka ekuleme. Waliwo emmotoka ng'ovudde ku mmotoka ezitali Toyota, ne mu Toyota mwenyini mulimu emmotoka ezimu nga you can look it at and analyze and know that this guy is going to disturb me. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I wanted to make that point first so that you guys are recommended and other cars are not recommended. You need to understand why the Chigege eyeri maase yeri ku UHU nenge etambula. I can bet you some money. It's very hard for you to find a Nissan Caravan which is in the same shape as that Chigege ngeri ku UHU ngeri ku bala. Echucho nkusibirako sente Nissan Caravan. I think both of them would literally be doing the same job. So there is network tujiwemo obudabilizing kale tuli mu kibuga wakati internet is that unstable. Football Tribe, good morning. Arthur, do you think the Kaundo is overpriced? Because 2009 is 55 in the bond, yet the Forester 2014 can be at 55 as well in the bond. Those prices are not they're not accidents, Nathan. The Kaundo gives you better value than the XT. Which take right? Is it good to buy a premium model at around 30 million or I buy a bond car that fits that price? That's a question. It's for tomorrow. I'm not going to answer that one. Edwin, I thought Nissan failed in Uganda only, but yesterday I saw a review of an Arabic car expert who made a comparison between V8, Nissan Patrol and Land Cruiser. Arthur, between Subaru Legacy, Kakoko, Gaston, you're asking a question that is for tomorrow. For the guys that are fresh on the channel, today is no question. Tomorrow is question Friday. We ask and answer questions tomorrow. He testified that if a Land Cruiser goes 1,500 kilometers without issues, Nissan will go 500 kilometers with issues, and that is a zero mileage car. Some people banange aren't understandable over the world we're in. So first, like a video you made on TikTok about people who use Uber safe car, yet those use the means of transport in Gatebaina. Arthur, it seems your picture is not clear. I hope it has clarified. Kind of, seems like it's a little better. Is it just me? Arthur's network is JK, the network is poor. Game Azima. Perez Lubanga, Muyombia Mark, network ibadde vanako. Njagala stabilizing. Chairman Zach, Damulain asiya bulolo aba batama bavuge byekigwago kati mukana akakubo. How do you create a second line? Mukana akakubo ngabo mukalaba. Muse Masadam, sorry, network abwetyo. Musala Derical Arthur, which car do you drive these days? No questions today. How is no questions today? No questions today. I'm sharing my experience yesterday for us to learn. So a few weeks ago, I started chatting with a person on WhatsApp, and he said he wanted to ask me questions. Nemugambo manchi obokola soko tekeko consultation fee ku simu yange era natekako ekizike kyange atakayanye yadde nakatu, which was a good thing. So he had seen a Corolla. You see the Corolla ange yange namukadde. He had seen a Corolla UAG. They had told him they are selling it 9 million. And like I'm always skeptical. So I told him at 9 million you can get something better. Which take a UAG ebe against nenga bwebaje iringa nungi, it's worth it. Because me normally what I would tell you is if you buy a UAG car at 9 million, why don't you just top up like 5 million and get something newer? You get. But sometimes people just don't have the money to top up. So I told him if it's good, you go ahead and buy. And he said, okay, thank you. And then a few days later, he texts me. And I would like to say this, guys, if you pay me consultation fee, it's not a lifetime subscription. If you pay me a consultation fee, it's for you to ask me questions that day. You don't pay me 50,000 to ask me questions for a month. You get it? So so he texts me a few days later and he says, how is Harrier old model? And I tell him it's also okay. Depends on how much you're buying it. So he tells me there's a Harrier old model in Ginger that I want to go check out. And I tell him how much they are selling to. He says they are also saying 9 million. I say, okay, you go check it out and see. He actually sent me the pictures. So guys, like the broadcast, thank you, Paddy and Ronald Muchwa. So I leave it at that, and like that's like the last time we chat. And then a few days I think later, he sends me pictures of a Primo. How is this Primo? And guys, I've told you time and again, I'm the kind of person that will not support you to buy a Primo old model at, let's say, 9 million. That's a lot of money, you get. So I tell him, if you're comparing the Primo to the Harrier, I would definitely buy the Harrier. And he said, okay. So I think a few days ago, he went to Ginger to see the Harrier. And then he said the Harrier wasn't good. Okay. Now, first of all, guys, if you're going to be working with Arthur for pre-purchase inspection, I'm going to encourage you. I don't know how good the quality of this image is, but I wanted to look at you. I would like to encourage you to be very honest with me. Tonimba. Okay? Because Monimba, you're going to waste both your time and my time, and we're also going to waste a lot of energy. So in the beginning, he tells me the Harrier wasn't good, so I left it. And then later he tells me the Harrier, their asking price was 9 million, but later they said they wanted 6 million. And then when I looked at it, it was okay, it was good, it had some things to work on, but at 6 million it was okay. I wanted to go back and buy it, but then by the time I called the person, they had sold it. So there are two contradicting statements. The first statement, he said the Harrier was not good, so I left it. And then the second time he says the Harrier was actually okay, it was 6 million. Actually, when he told me he was buying a Harrier old model, 2.2 liters at 6 million, I told him, why didn't you buy it? You get it? Because it's literally impossible to find a Harrier 2.2 liters at 6 million. You get it? And I'm going to tell you how he knew. Because when we were in the field, he also figured out it was impossible. So so he calls me to give back a bond with Wagenze. He had told me, now this is where you guys need to be really honest with me. You need to really be honest with me. So this gentleman texted me pictures of a Vitz and a Nadia, and I think also a Primo old model. And he said these cars are in the same area. And he told me, now honesty, guys, he told me the Vitz, which was a 1.3 liter, was 13 million shillings. Okay? and he wanted us to look at it. So initially he said, I want you to look at this car. I told him, since you paid the 50,000 consultation, you are going to pay 400,000 balance. And then he said, Arthur, and I told him, but you know what, my inspection fee is not negotiable. So he said, okay. Then I told him to come and find me. He phoned me, and then we went to the place where the Vitz was. Now the Vitz was not a bad car, but it wasn't 13 million. First of all, the car itself never was 13, but on top of that, the engine was already smoking. So in we went to a new model Vitz, which was a UAT, I think, but it did not have power. The engine didn't have power. It was also at 13. Then there was another Vitz, the old model 1000 cc, which was being sold at 11. That wasn't worth the money. Yeah, it wasn't worth the money. And so we left that place. And now as we were driving, my mechanic had a client that was selling a Primo new model at 13. It was UAT, which would have been a good deal because the Primo literally doesn't lose value. So we went to see it, but it didn't have a very good engine. The engine was not bad, so we left it. Now we were sitting, and then we started having a discussion, because initially when this person told me he was buying a Vitz at 13 million, I actually thought he had 13 million. He didn't have 13. This is where I normally tell you guys to be honest. You tell me how much money you have, okay, and then we discuss what cars you can buy with that money. Okay, now I've also discouraged you guys from buying used cars on credit. If you're going to buy an old car, buy one you can afford. Don't buy an old car on credit. Jamo, I don't think it's the camera. I think it's the network. I think it's the network. So then we have the discussion, and then eventually this person tells us that, you know what, I have cash money. 8 million shillings. Okay, and now this is normally the time that I have serious talk with this person. He says he has 8 million. So I ask him, then why don't you buy a car of 8 million? Why are we looking at cars of 13, which were not also worth 13 million shillings, when for sure you know you have only 8 million? Now, this is the thing. I've told you this time and again, guys. Bobo genda kugula emotoka. Emotoka tebaginonya nga ploti. Nti kubanga a plot of land will never move. And a plot of land is harder to sell than a car. So you don't be planning to buy a car and you move around Kampala for 3 weeks trying to look for a car. But this is what this person had already done. Buli wamunga yatambula wodda nga naba mwetegekedde bamwetegekedde. So eventually we thought and we told him, why don't you buy like a RAV4 old model or jirengo ovuge motoka, because that one you could get it probably at 9. There was a RAV4 short. You remember, guys, the RAV4 short I told you of a lady that was selling it, a red, the one we bought some time ago. So I told him, why don't you go and buy this RAV4 from this lady? I got 9 million, but because of mcharo yali ajitunako 7, nemugamba to papa emoroka hiyo jaji tunakwe jibeze. So and he said, I don't want the RAV4 short, but I have a friend of mine who has a RAV4 long, the 4-door RAV, 5-door RAV4, and he's selling it at 9 million. Now this is where, guys, you need to be honest, because this gentleman was telling me that his friend has this RAV4 mukwano gwe, and I asked him, mukwano gwe, have you ever seen the car? He says yes, nalinjirabyeko nungi nnyo. And I said, okay, let's drive. So we drive to Kansanga, where that RAV4 was. tuwate tunatuuka ku motoka, then he tells us naye ate motoka eno sigirabangako, nagirabanga mu bifaananyi. But remember initially he was telling us he had seen the car physically. I don't know if you guys get where honesty is important, because normally when you tell me nze nsobola okutuna ku namba y'emmotoka nentunula bwefaanana nenkuba y'ebifaananyi nemmanya nti emmotoka eyo bagitegese tegenda faanana bweti bw'onoogituukako. And that's what we told this gentleman. You know what, a rough eyo ntegeke tugenda gituukawo nga tefaanana nga bwefaanana mu bifaananyi. When we got to Kansanga, indeed that is what happened. Emmotoka nga maaso baagitomera, emabega baagitomera, interior mbi, okitegeera. And that's basically what it was. The car was not worth even 6 million. But when we asked the gentleman that was selling, he said 10.5. You get it? Atenge motoka eyo, you know there are cars that will be on Gigi for 2 years. Nga teri agigula. Kade motoka bwebera ku Gigi for 2 years nga teri agigula. Kitegeeza, there is a reason why nobody is actually buying the car. So as we were coming from Kansanga, this was a time for us. By this time, Ngatu, you know how you be with someone and you're trying to tell them, to make them understand, maybe we should be making a decision that is like this. So, and by this time, we have told him, Nenga, olabanga bwatugambira mu lukarafo ya mukwano gwe yagira bakodda. Netutuka yate nagamba sigirabangako. So at this time we asked him, okay, what do we do next? Because when we had suggested the options that we thought were in that price range, he knew where the cars were. And my mechanic was suggesting, no, let us not go there. Because normally, the reason why I normally tell you guys to find your own cars is because I don't want anyone to ever come and say, Atha yantwala ku motoka nanguze zize. You get? And initially when we suggested options, Ghana, I just said to the mechanic, let's just go to his options. So now I'm going to bulijjo soogera before na ekino ekifo ngenda kukyogera. Tuve Kansanga. This is where this gentleman now tells us something that I still think was not honest. This is where he tells me, I have an hobby of mine that that works in Machindi. And I was open and I told him, Machindi wetaaga genda. Ng'omuntu gw'ogenda okugulako emmoloka yagikulaze nga akakasiza gyeri, because there are multiple times we have gone to Machindi and the brokers were lying about the cars being there. And he told us, this is my hobby, I trust him, let's go. So he called the hobby and the hobby said, you know what, jangu. So we went and parked where we parked, and then he went to meet the hobby who said he was having lunch to Mulinde Kali. So we waited for the gentleman to eat. And the gentleman did not know the budget. So when the gentleman meets us, the first thing we told the buyer is tell your friend what your budget is. And he told him, you know what, I have 8 million maximum for a car. And the broker says, ku million munana togenda kweronda. This is the thing that I normally tell you. And the broker told him, ku million munana togenda kweronda. Now this is why normally bobera ne million munana mbake broker ze gamba guleno, because ezo nzimanyi tejja kuwa buzibu atejja kusigazaamu ku kitiibwa kyo. Because bantu mwe nze mbakolera inspection ebbanga ddene, and I can tell you majority of the guys I do inspection for muli bantu ba kitiibwa. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Muli bantu ba kitiibwa, you are professionals, so it's never a good idea for you to simply buy a car because you just want to buy a car. You need, that's why normally when I'm talking to someone as Zomo inspection, I ask them, what do you do? What's your profession? Nyabo toda mukusura kasasiro mwala. Bana Uganda baba abachi. Omukazi asura kasasiro mwala. Ni bana Uganda abachi. Na Uganda basiru. Wemala bagamba government ejira. Mu kibuga wakati wano ku William Street, chike akuto bubira bwakasasira abokasukayo bwati. So anyway, tutuukayo omwami n'amugamba tugenda kweronda, n'amugamba now with the budget of 8 million ogenda kugula emmoroka zi primo old model 10 ezo emmoroka muzitegeera. But me personally, and this I've told you so many times, Mbagambi 10 doesn't sit properly with me. 10 for the guys that don't know is that car that looks like the Primo, but it's a bit older. It's a bit old, looks a little bit older than the Primo. Yeah, so and I tell them ne broker na Mugambi down ne Mugamba gwe guy za 10 ngate ntulira bulungi. When I look at this gentleman tazali mwagaliza kuvuga 10 nagamba naye atakati sente ze zaayina tugende tugirabe. So we went, and so guys, it's the network. The picture is because of the network. The network is bad. So because of the money we had 8 million ne tugenda tulabe 10 tuba tukirira ne tulaba kamoroka aliwa kamoroka bakaita Toyota DB, the one that came before the room, you know it. Makanika n'agamba naye jangu tulabe Toyota DB ne beera mu 1NZ, it might be a good buy bwe bannamu. So we tuyingirayo mu kabanda awo, and we look at the car. It wasn't the best looking car, but at the price, at the budget of 8.5, it would be a good buy. Sengebe etandika tujikebera ne batugamba tetandika, they have to call a mechanic to start it. Nagamba manyi tugende tulabe 10. So we go to a 10. When we go to the 10, we start it. Now me, one of the things I don't like about those old cars, no kubagamba nti gula moroka za EFI nze nzivuze. We reach the 10 and they started ng'omuliro idling tamarayo eba erimu akantu akasikatira. Now normally when the car is like that, I can tell you it can be one or two things. One, the plugs can just be bad, the fuel pump can be weak, or the engine might be needing an overhaul. And indeed we balinnye ku kumuliro guti ng'emmoroka efuuwa. Okitegeera ng'emmoroka ekola ki? Ng'emmoroka efuuwa. So emmoroka bwe yafuuye bweti nze ne mugamba omanyi nze nagambidde ddala 10 sijagala. So then the broker came, because the broker noli babadde beemanyi. So the broker came and said, neka akati gwe musajja oyagala kulemesa, gwe oyagala akole ki ku sente ze zaayina. So then I asked this broker a question. Normally I ask these questions. I asked the broker, gwe ku sente zo milioni 8 ye motoka ogigula. And the broker said atenzo ombuuza bikinze ngula oli yagula. Now ne mubuuza gwe ogigula gwe osobola okukwata milioni zo 8.5 oba 8 n'ozissa mu ye motoka. Then the broker asked me a valid question. He asked me, Arthur, gwe ku milioni 8 zaayina emmoroka gyagenda okugula agijjiwa eriwa? The broker got money out of his pocket zabadde ndo za milioni nga 6. N'agamba Arthur, milioni zange zizino 6 nva ku Masaka Road kunoonya motoka ya rais ebuze. Kati nze asiba mu moroka asuubule emmoroka embuze ono agijjawa? You get it? Which was also valid. So I went ahead and asked the mechanic gwe twabadde naye ne mubuuza tudde mazima gwe 10 ogigula. Because normally me, when I'm inspecting a car for someone, I put myself in your shoes and then I ask myself, would I drive this car at this money? Yensonga lwaki nze ebiseera ebimu tusobola okugenda okunoonya emmoroka ne tutafuna mmotoka. Lwaki? Nze kyesaalivuze ku ssente zo z'olina siku advising kukigula oba olumu nyinza n'okukigula. So I asked the mechanic, would you drive this car? The mechanic said, Arthur, nze nange emmoroka sigivuga ku ezo ssente. Okitegeera emmoroka nga ekisooka yo nga y'emmotoka omuntu yabadde agenda ogigula nga tegenda muweesa kitiibwa. Ekyo kintu kikulu nnyo mmwe bagayi. Muyinza okayita amalala, muyinza okiyita ki, but it's very important that as you buy a car that will help you maintain or even gain some respect. So ekyo awo twamazeewo ebbanga nga tukaayana back and forth. Naye gwe sente zaalina omusajja toyagala agule emmoroka biki. And me, because I was hired to do inspection and advise this person, I told him emmotoka nze sigissaamu ssente, saali ku advise nze gissaamu ssente. Okitegeera. Then this is where the conversation of Rachitaguze RAV4 where it came. So we saw a RAV4 old model which wasn't good, and then after the RAV4 old model which wasn't good, never again 2003 D4. And the engine started fine. The car did not look that bad. It was a UAK. I think a RAV4 tebagula number, but wiring nga muyiye. Ngire inaka akantu kasikatira kimbagambi. And initially, because before we came to this place in Namugambi, see, this is something I had skipped. Nemugambi eno jetulaga. Emmotoka zaayo ennungi gye ziri naye ezisingayo si nnungi. And this is when the broker actually broke it. Twade tukikyali ku 10-10. The broker told him, bw'oba oyagala ofuna emmotoka ennungi ziri mu tawuni. This is something that came out of the broker. Ziriwa? He even said, nyinayo haji gwe mmanyi eyo mu tawuni. Gwe tusobola okukubira netugenda yajja kuwa emmotoka abeerawo n'emmotoka ze nga nnungi. Akuwole omuweeko ogende mu maaso. Okitegeera. Ate ng'ekyo kinadde nakimugambeko nemugaa emmotoka bwe ziva eno ne zigaana nga bazitunda wali bwe zigaana nga bazitunda wali like that. This is something that the mechanic, the broker told him. Ate agenda okwagala okukubira omwami gwagamba nsobola okuwola ono emmotoka. Ng'omwami oyo tumumanyi, we have bought a car there before. Kati ng'ali mugamba, bamugambe there is a Vitz at 11. Naye nga Vitz gyagamba 11. I already told the mechanic to call those people. Nga you have bajira mu 14. Agenda okuddamu okuba nga tekyali ku 11. Ngolwe kati ya 13. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Ngerinye. So we look at this RAV4, and I want to be open because ebintu embwe sibagamba ngenda kusigala nga nfuna abantu abansumbuwa ate bagambe Arthur yali asene zange eza inspection nesifuna motoka, and I don't want these things to happen. So afterwards, tumaze okulaba RAV4 yonze, bwe twamaze okulaba RAV4, I told the buyer, namuga RAV4 yo giraba simbi. Newe netandika okusumbwa egenda kulemerera. Ejja kulya sente ekutame. The broker said, you know what? Tolemesa musajja agula motoka nze nja muwa makanika. Anagikanika. So then that's when I said, wobono omuwa makanika, it's okay. Wobono omuwa makanika, it's okay. Yikati aguli. Na yenze kuchemmanyi, there are cars where the chances of you failing to maintain it or keep it on the road are higher. RAV4 ya D4 bwebeera nkadde ngambi obanga ntetenka, it's one of those cars. So bwetuva kweyo RAV4 nitudda bali ebbali twegayemu. Then this person yabadde agula motoka nasanga omu ku bantu bamanyi byali akozeeko nabo business n'agenda okunyumya nabo. Broker najja nangamba nikakati gwe nawo omusajja omukanze mmotoka ne mugamba gwe muzeeyi emmotoka eyo gwe gyogamba nti mukanze sigi mukanze naawe okimanyi obimanyi nti esobola okugaana. Then the broker said yes esobola okugaana ne premier gaana ne mugana ne premier gaana naye premier genda okutuuka okugaana eba biba biwanvu naye ne emmotoka tebiriiko biwanvu. Naga ne kati gwe nawo omuntu amaze omukanga ne mugamba we had seen a Harrier 3000cc nga bagigamba $1,800,000 ne mugana now if you really want to sell a car, why don't you sell him the Harrier 3000cc? Because the chances of the Harrier 3000cc having problems are less than that RAV4. Then he said, but that Harrier also has a problem. And the broker was really honest. But then we broker yabade honest. So, but then he says, the person that the buyer is talking to has another Harrier 3000cc yabade yagitulazeeko. Olibwe yafulumya okwogera ne mukwano gwe namugamba naye kati the other Harrier 3000cc belongs to that gentleman who is also your friend. Why don't we look at it? We went and looked at the Harrier, which was also a very good car. Engine ngebulamu katono naye ngeekola. But still it was not 8 million, it was 12 million. So after we saw the car, verified it, then they went yene mukwano gwe ne boogera. I don't know what they talked in terms of price, and that was the last car we looked at, which was at around 430. Now, this is one of the reasons why I normally tell you guys, let's start inspection in the morning. Because twatandise sawa musanvu, nituka ku 10 kitundu, ngira tetunafuna motoka, nga tunafuna conclusion. And one of the reasons why you could not get conclusion is because the person I was inspecting for, yabadde, I want to set awuliriza. Mukitegeera. There are things normally when man tudde na wano nga nyinza bwe naba mbigambidde awe oyinza okunyiiga n'onviira oba n'onvuma. naye ng'ategeera mazima g'osaana okuwulira okitegeera. Let me give you another example lwaki ebiseera ebimu omuntu bw'aba akaayana nnyo ebiseera ebimu tukireka bulesi ne kigenda. The same person yaŋŋambye baali bamuwola paso sete ng'asasulako miliyoni 10 bagimuguze ku miliyoni 26 paso sete. Okujjako ng'omuntu akumanyi personally n'akugamba mpaaka eze 10 nze n'akubanja 16. Paso sete, you guys remember when we were buying it cash, we bought it how much? 27. And then you also remember the experience that I told you of the person gotwali kulanga paso sete. Then a friend of hers told her, you know what? Abo broke by an association. Genda wano ne wano abaleke ku gate ogende go negotiating. And then this person goes into the bond and they find that the paso sete was actually 32 there, not 27 like we had gotten. Nga agenze yekka. And then we ended up buying the one at 27. So this gentleman says, nze nyina we bampola paso sete, nsasulako 10, bamanje 16. And then the mechanic said, nze nyina miliyoni 15, we bagituwola. Tugende yonze nje nsasule 15 bagimpole. Nga bagitunda 26 because 26 would be a very good offer. Nga weewoze mmoroka eyo ngo gisasuleko miliyoni 15. Okitegeera. And then that's where omanyi guys, bwe mugenda okukola inspection ne athabera honest. Because every time you're not honest, tumala obudde bwaffe ne tumala amaanyi gaffe ne tumala ne ssente. Now the gentleman from yesterday lost 400,000 shillings, not because I did not do my job, but because my job was also hindered by, I want to say, the lack of transparency in the situation. So I want to tell you this. It does not kill you to be honest with Arthur. Nabagamba nebo janga kola inspection ne Arthur werekere milioni meka 2 ozisigaze zizo. Arthur mugambe sente ezo gale zino zenyina, zino ze options zetugenda okulaba zetugenda okulondako kibere clear nti sente zino. But botabere honest oyina milioni 5 ate no ngambo oyina 8 tugenda okutuuka. We have seen a good car at let's say 8 naye nga ate oyina 6. Kati tukateta nako negotiating amabanja kibate kigatta. So try to be as transparent as possible. If you're not going to be transparent with Arthur, please don't hire Arthur for pre-purchase inspection, because I can tell you that fena tubana ebyokukola naye wenyine oyina ebyokukola olisewe ebyokukola ne Arthur alisewe ebyokukola ate ne mujja mu field ne mmala obudde. Okay, you'd rather go and I've told you time and again, guys, you can watch my videos here and you know what to do. No gena wekeberere mmotoka okitegeera and ekyo nakyo tekiri mu stani. So you watch the videos, go check your cars yourself. Okusinga bono omala sente n'omala obudde ate yanomaliza nga tofunye eki nga tofunye mmotoka okitegeera. Now the reason why I'm sharing the story from yesterday, and I made sure to make sure that I'm sharing the story of yesterday, is because yesterday's incident, eringa incident ya I told you of a lady bamugamba baina paso sete ya milioni 20 eri ku UBM. Ni bamugamba baina room yoni UBM era milioni 20 ne tugenda yo nga teriyo ne batandika ate nyini yagenze wano ate nyini and it's like normally when I tell someone ngati tunatuuka yeje bamuganya nyini yage namugamba tekisoboka teriyo na balimba manyi bakwano bange tugenda okutuuka ngo omuntu bamukubira essimu ate atandise okuza nanyini siba paso sete akyali waka mumulinde kawo ne tulinde dakika 3 nga taliwo ate room yoni nti ate kati room yoni erina kawo tumugajja tugende nakawa jya tugende fena mmoroka muno nti ate kati nkyali busy ate you get it? So and I told this gentleman yesterday, fetukola inspections. Tewali chintu okujjako ng'oyogera ku Benz tutatera kola inspection. Tewali chintu kyogenda kungamba ku motoka. Naddala ezo eza layisi nga sikimanyi. Okitegeera. Which is why sometimes twabadde twogera omanye ebisere mnyina ba mechanic olumbe enkola nabo nga ati mukayanyi. Mechanic ayatusenga ayagala kane mugatoka ayana. If someone tells you, me, I know a place, let us ekirungi yasasude sente za inspection tuvuge tugende yo nga tuvugane tugendawo nze sitera kaya muntu, because at the end of the day the time is against you. Go wasasude sente nze nkole kitegeeza busenga tukola inspection because your money covers only one day. I will tell you. And for the guys that don't know, I do pre-purchase inspection. I come with a mechanic. Before you buy a car, it's important that you do pre-purchase inspection. It's one of the services I offer. I come with a mechanic and we make sure you get a good car in your price. But the money you pay, which is 450,000 for pre-purchase inspection, covers strictly 1 day. Nebo jano gama tandike kumwenda. Okay? But tandika kumwenda banka bwe ziggalawo nga naffe tunnyuka. Because emotoka nebo tunagiraba togenda kusobola genda mu banka kola kugisasula. Ate emotoka eyo bwe tunagiraba nga togisasudde enkyo osobola okujja nga bagitaganjudde bagyemu ebintu. And then bwe tuba twagirayo gwe tugi-inspecting nga nungi leero bw'ogivuga n'ekusumbwa gwaba akola loss. Inspecting. So I do pre-purchase inspection and the money covers strictly 1 day. Kitegeza nebo jja sawa munana tukola inspection. Ku 11 bwe tunnyuka tosobola kujja n'ogamba Arthur, I paid you yesterday, come and inspect for me today. It's impossible. And why it covers 1 day is because inze nabagamba waliwo abantu abakuyangamba Arthur nonyeze moroka nze nja kujanga nvuga buvuzi. It doesn't work like that. Tulina okubeera ffenna mu field bwe buba buzibu bw'empitamu naawe n'obuyitamu n'obulaba. That's why inze mbagambi tulina ebiseera tugenda to look for cars and omuntu yennyini azogula emmotoka n'akoowa okunsooka. Why? Because nze nkimanyi okunoonya emmotoka si kye kintu ekyangu. I can tell you for example the gentleman from yesterday yatandika okunoonya emmotoka like 3 weeks ago. Ye nga akola yekka. Yagenze n'ejjinja okulaba emmotoka. Okitegeera era n'atafunayo emmotoka. Nti at the end of the day mu lunaku lumu if you have the right budget in 1 day you can get a car. Keerewa Arthur ku ssaawa 3. Okitegeera. That's why I normally tell you to book me. Like I already have a booking of October. Either when this person called me, Nemugamba, I'm not available on this day and this date, but I'm available on this date. We have to go very early in the morning to start looking for the cars. So that by around 3 p.m. we have seen about a good number of options and we decide kati eno wetakola tugenda neno. So that by 5 p.m. as banks close by 5 p.m. edo sigaro ogenda mu VIP branch. Ogendo je sente sasule mu rukayo givugo ogende. Watching chikola bwentyo. People can get ready for you basobola kwetegekera. Go kubira omuntu ogenda nola bimoroka yo nganja kujja ku Lokutano ngisasule. By Friday ne bwebe baddemu akantu akayinzo giremesa okutambula okutuuka e Masaka. Akakola n'etuuka e Masaka neefa. That's why I normally tell you ogule emmotoka kuba kwa lunaku lumu if you have the right budget. If you don't have the right budget, yeah, nebo onotambula ennaku 3 kati you can imagine this person yatandika okunonya emmotoka about 3 weeks ago. Yazze n'eggulu ng'ali ne Athletic ofuna mmotoka. Nitambula kumpi ekibuga kiramba. And I can tell you the cars I recommended for him zabadde nungi like the Rafe ya Red Jemba gambe yo mukyala buy and drive mipira kwejiri buli kimu kiryoke naye yagiganye sivuga rap for short ne kati mazima ddala bagayi bange oyina $8,000,000 lwaki tovuga rap for short lwaki obeera ne $8,000,000 ne weeronda osegeere waliwo sente omuntu zoba nazo ng'ebyokweronda olina okubivaako ng'emmoroka eriwo kasiteeba nnungi you drive that n'ogenda n'okola emirimu gyo negitambula. And then guys, let me tell you this one thing. It's easier for you to get a better car when you have a car. Mulabanga we naina namukadde. It was easier for me to upgrade to another car nenda mukadde ate nesigalawo because I had a car. Omuntu alina essimu ayangwira oku upgrading essimu nti nyina Tecno njagala Samsung. Omuntu atalina yadde Tecno okufuna Samsung kizibu. Era bw'aba atandikira ku Tecno okujjako nga atalina sente nyingi. Now, for the people that have small monies, tandika nekyosobola okugula with that money. Era I told this person, nemugamba tewali kikwewoza motoka. Sente zo kati weewole emmotoka y'emiliyoni, emmotoka gye bakola ku $1,13,000 kitegeeza ina kuba ya 10 oba 11. Teri muntu agenda kuwola mmoroka and they give you a car on credit at the same amount they are selling it on cash. Era neyo vitiza ya 13 jemba gamba je twasoose okulaba. By the end of the day, nanyini yo adachi tuna 13 cash nga mabanje genda kugwera mu 15. Why would you get a Vitz that has a smoking engine that is old at 15 million shillings nga ku $1,15,000 osoro funa Vitz new model ngeri mu number UBJ around there? Why? I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. So today's takeaways: 1, when you're going to work with Arthur, ngagenda kuwera pre-purchase inspection, be honest. Nebobo ina $1,500,000 beera honest okay? Arthur nyina tojja wa Arthur n'omulimba nyina munana nga ate cash ina 5. Osegeera tujja kunonya moroka emiliyoni 8 tugifune nga nungi atotandika okugaza nikatati bwemba wake 5 mukola ebyo tebabikola Arthur babikola ba broker. That's a strategy that Arthur and you can use on a broker or in a casera. That's not a strategy you start using on Arthur. Because we are going to look for a car that is 8 million in good condition. Because of a fix ajituna munana afune cash. Katato mtu amaro kura muri emoroka million munana mugana ikatika nkuweke 5. Ochitegeye tugenda kuba tumara obudde. So yes, I called it serious talk because when it's been a long time since I was this serious. Nenjogere ebintu as blunt as I've said. Why? I normally try to keep the goodwill of people that I've done inspection for. But then I realize if we don't have talks like this, we are going to keep wanting to get miracles. Oshegera, tugenda kusigala nga twagala kufuna miracles, nga ate miracles teziriyo. Then as I also find that if we keep not having these conversations, you guys are going to keep giving Arthur pre-purchase inspection fee, you don't get a car, and then you feel bad. Arthur nakuwa namu etano gange, ate netafuna motoka. Owulira bubi mulimu mutima nenga ate Arthur yakola omulimu gwe. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Comment chize sisomye. Bana guys, I'm not answering questions here. Questions are for tomorrow because tomorrow is question Friday. Let me see. Na kusoma comment. Chino budde bwa febuweddeyo. JK, good morning. Perez Lubanga, good morning. Musema Sadam, Natuha Bailon have changed to MTN then Airtel. Naine audio eganye. Na yenga, the message is very important. Musala Derek, Matthew Tusime, question is for tomorrow. Arthur, the Chikumi as a project car of 6 million can give you 8 kilometers per liter. Okay. Bukenya Shafiq, Arthur, a number yangu in the description ya channel. But for those that don't have it, it's 0752 991 051. 0752 991 051. Nick Wabuyi, network checho. Jesh Meran. Let's keep the okay. Mulindwa Gonzaga. Saith Kagaba, yeah, it's the network. Nekakati nangi wanura banji but it's blurry. Majwala Julius, Jemo Kevin. Okay, Godfriend Tambala. Na yenga lwaki toyogera mazima kyokka omusanga abonereza omwana olw'okulimba. Ntongo Helen, Ochaloy Daniel, Musime Kim Job, omni wandia Musime Kim Job jangu ku broadcast yencha. Babo enipuddamu wana encha tojja kujja. Arthur, Alteza, the Alteza, I would advise you don't buy the Alteza. You'd rather buy a Mark II Grand. I know the Alteza might be cheaper than the Mark II Grand, but Alteza jakunywa mafuta na dala. If the Alteza you're buying is manual buy, but if it's automatic, it consumes probably like a Mark X. Francis NBA, I'm good, thank you. Onobamu Zemu. Akampura Emi, good morning. Arthur, toyagara my primo old model. Now I'm from up country, I'll bring you my primo and you will be convinced to like it. Emi, it's not like I don't like the primo old model. I find that they are better cars. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. Normally when I tell you not to buy a certain car, it's not because it's the worst. It's just they are better cars from my experience. And Emi, I drove a primo old model. Teina Buzibu. It's one of the cars that are very durable, but they are better cars. So I would not advise someone that has 9 million to buy a primo old model. I would not. I would actually advise them to look for more money at Opingagule primo new model. Because the primo old model right now, I find that Saint Obo Suden Suli. Marvin Oriema, Arthur, explain the performance. Chonchoge Deco. Lubega Francis, good morning. Bailon. Yusuf Minaj, need to blend. Openness saves time. There is no reason for acting wise in such instances. Cuts that done. Victoria Mbaba Z. Victoria, you book me in advance. Inspection is 450,000, so you book with the 50,000. You bring the 400,000 on the day of inspection. Ramadan, my number is in the description. Rashid, I don't want to say he wants a car of 26 with 8 million, but I want to think that this person was a Gigi person. mwali mulabyeko emmotoka z'okujiji abantu abo babeera honest ne tumugamba our honest opinion n'agamba naye zibeerako emmotoka ennungi and all that. And me, normally omuntu kasita ngamba ku jiji kubaako emmotoka ennungi means sikaayana naye nga tugenda tulaba emmotoka ezo ennungi, but majority of the time it has not ended very well. We need to help to discuss Harriers. They seem to be available for cheap, but I always fear that there is something fishy, too good. And no, Kenneth, the Harrier old models are okay. Just make sure the engine is good. They are okay. Jikebere engine ebere nungi, gearbox ebere nungi, suspension nga nungi. Harriers are some of the cars that you can drive ngatefa. I can tell you. Ate bwofuna 13 nga engine yayo nungi hakweyagala togenda jitta kochi. Nkugambe engine ya sise 13 nebwe nefa. Ejasigala etambula bulungi kuba 13 nyingi. Just mafuta. Need to blend tomorrow. Questions are for tomorrow. My friend left the Mark X to get a Harrier 2008. Now he says Mark X enywamu katono okusinga kikawundo. Ati Mark X 25 kawundo ebeera 24. Okitegeera. My first time on the live broadcast. Amina Jonathan, webale kujja. You're welcome every morning 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday, and then we have evening broadcast on Saturday 5:15. Current price of remote 2010 Ronald ngenda kuddamu encha. Opinion Alex and Alex. Tomorrow katende Brian Dairosi bibuzo bana ikamba sibule guys. I hope tulonzeemu mu broadcast ya lero. I wanted to share this because munatera okuyingira season y'okwegulira amamotoka ga Christmas. It's important that you understand those things. Oleme kutomera ontegeera ate twayambiddwa broker wegulo we machindi yabadde very honest. Yabadde honest nga tanoonya kulya mangu kuba singa abadde anoonya kulya mangu simanyi oba yakikoze because twabaddeko naffe ng'oli tazze yekka. But it's possible nti ye bwatyo bwali gye bali abantu abali honest. Yabadde honest n'amugamba bwo yagala emmoroka ennungi eri mu town. Okitegeera bwo yagala emmoroka ennungi ezisinga ziri wa broker we machindi yakyogedde. I don't even know him. Ate twatuuse nga twogera ne tumugamba omwami yabadde ago tumugamba ekirungi ono omwami wuwo fe tubadde tetumumanyi bye tubadde tugamba byennyini nnyini byakola ki byakugamba. So ebiseera ebimu banange nze njagala emmotoka naye bwe nkugamba nga nti emmoroka nze sigivuga ku ezo sente zizo emmoroka egenda kuba iyo bw'oba osobola kyewale. Okitegeera bw'oba osobola kyewale. Nze bwe nkugamba nti 10 nze nga Arthur sigivuga. Nze sigivuga kiba kigo ky'amaanyi ate era sinza kuba na kigo nga nyine ekigo okusinza bw'ova pricing nga 10 sinza kubanga nagudde ate nga nsobola okugula 10 era nzo okugwa kwange embeera mu 10 starlet ne starlet nno yabbeeyo omuntu waba yagudde ekigo ekinywera ng'akumpunye ne starlet yabbeeyo omuntu akumpunye bavuga 10 actually bavuga 9 abakumpunye ipsam. Okitegeera kubanga seera ako sente zoba nazo za kugula mmoroka etambula. Okitegeera naye banaye kamba siibule emboze ntujja gigattako olunaku olw'enkya Muyombya Mark, Godfrey Tambala, Mutebi Joel, Mugalasi Joshua Mix Farm, Rashid Jagenda, Omni Wandyambi, Jay Sekaja, Africa Karota, Bukenya Shafiq, Kakonge Eugene, Julius Muriaka, Patrick Rio Poultry Farm, Nathan, Jones Info, Paul Sema VIP, Tusime Eddie, Ben Kako, Travel Live Vlog, Morad K, Momo, Muhumuza Osbat, Ronald Muchwa VIP, Rubega, Rubura Chris Fitness, Michael UG, Jones Info, Omni Wandyambi, Heath Moses, Kenneth Okilan, Ak Vincent, Football Tribe UG, Nathan, Mwebaza Anglin, Kakoko, Gaston, Edwin Mugerwa, Murad K Momo VIP, Natuha Bailon, Omeja Moses JK, Perez Lubanga, Muse Masadam Chairman, Zach, Josh Meran, Matthew Tusime, Hellcat, Ronald Muchwa VIP, Seith Kagawa, Council Patrick Asiku, Majwala Julius, Jemoth Kevin, Ntongo Helen, Ochaloi Daniel, Yala Zugzug, Musime Kim Job, Melvin 19, Oriema Marvin, East African Trends, Akampurira Emmy. Bana guys, bwembasi kuze mu bibuzo byengenda biddamu enkya because tomorrow is question Friday. Yusuf Minaj, Need to Blend, Cuts the Dawn, Victoria Mbaba Zisebuguza Ramadan, Besigensi Kenneth, Mukasa Jonathan, Ronald Matovu, Brian Emma, Nampija Juliet, Alan Awubwa. Compare Harrier versus RAV4 old model versions. It depends on how much fuel you have. RAV4 is definitely always better in terms of fuel. In terms of prestige, the Harrier takes it. Primos are good but overpriced. Katwena M. Benjamin, guys, I don't take it for granted. I want to still make a disclaimer. Today's broadcast, I'm not doing it to attack. I'm doing it to make sure that we share this knowledge so that the guys that are going to buy a car and also the gentleman from yesterday, the next time we make a better choice. Which together we so that we make the process of buying a car easier. Nobody gonna broker guys in Arthur. It's important that you're honest with the broker and hope that the broker will be honest with you. Broker mubuli nzijo kunonye moroka na enyi nini milioni mukaga. Sometimes the broker will even tell you milioni zo mukaga tezigura motoka toja. I've seen that happen. Ngabo tuatuse ko yo broker yo wema chinde naga na milioni zo munana tezigura vitizi. Ochitegera tezigura vitizo jafuna nga chikumi and all that. Ochitegera yabade honest. So please, when you're going to buy elemekubera na moroka yoka nebwe kibasimu nebwe bera laptop nebwe libataka yogera nzemu kunsonga lwachi nagula matuga because sente zinaina zali zigula matuga zaite sura gaya za road ojeera ngemitya na road sagara yo wala Masaka road sagara yo ngate sura gaya za road sura gula na mugongo era broke yantu ali matuga namugamba sente zenina nemugasisuka wo nebonkunkumula osegeera naso kantwale kugaza road ngo yise ne bugemeyo ebusika wala mlanti amatuga wala ebusika wala nemuganze yasisobola tudde matuga tugule matuga wafe mu kyalo kubazi seneze twayina. So guys, take away today, be honest, know what cars you can get in that price range and get that. Number 3, don't buy an old car on credit. Kachibechi okugula RAV4 nkade on credit, at least gula chibina cash. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Echirala bobono ogule motoka tandika kumacha towawa mukakusaba mukago gwe misano gakangene ntandiko kunonye motoka ekyokulala. Guys, emoroka zo mu byaro muzirikire ba makanika bino simani nye moroka ngenze mbale gula moroka muzirikire ba makanika okujja ko nga ya family member omumanyo ya mukwano gwo omumanyi nti otukira wakawe ojeye motoka. Guys, mukama abampero mukisa. I'll see you tomorrow morning same time. Broadcast genda kuchuka muko katono sana ko kutandika kusawa yemu dakika nga 25 nawe munzikirize nchusemu ko kubudde katono, but I'll always make sure I give you a full hour of the broadcast. I hope this 1 hour has not been wasteful. I hope we have picked something na dada bagendo gule moroka in time to come. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Ciao.